Today I want to show you a non-traditional yam dish for Thanksgiving. So I got some yams here, used a mandolin, totally easy to do. And what we want to do is just make a simple au gratin. So I have a bunch of these slices, and I want to show you the simple technique of laying them out. And then once we lay them out into a single row, that's when you want to season them. Now there's different ways to do an au gratin, but this is the way that I like. So I have a little bit of salt in between layers to make sure each layer tastes good. So some salt, a little bit of pepper, and then I go back to layering. So these potatoes have been in some water. Now some of the French chefs are probably going crazy, you don't do water on, au gratin potatoes, but I'm trying to do this ahead of time, so I didn't want these to oxidize. When they oxidize, these potatoes will get really, really dark, and that's something I don't want to do. So I had them in some water. If you could do it right away, totally fine. Again, a little bit of salt, some pepper, and as these cook, they're gonna get flat. I'm gonna add a little bit of my cheese. I have some sheep's milk cheese here, cojita cheese. This is gonna be like a southwestern yam. And I'm just showing you this technique with this size. You could make this in a huge rectangle or whatever, any kind of dish you might have. It's the technique, it's not about like the vessel or the recipe. So I'm gonna finish it off. I also wanna show you this one if you wanna make them like personalized. I can totally make this to have as an individual dish. Same rules apply. Season each layer. Don't forget your cheese. All right, that's good enough. Finish off the layer of salt. Finish the pepper. All right, these are good to go. All I have to do now is heat my cream and flavor my cream and pour it in. I'll show you how to do that right now. So the technique we're doing now is we're heating our cream. I probably don't have to use all of it, but I'm gonna heat all of it. So what this technique's all about is flavoring our cream. So if we were to make a custard or an au gratin or anything that deals with a milk and a flavoring, this is how we flavor it. So I have some chipotles here. I have 3, and I have a little bit of the adobo sauce. And I just wanna put that in. And this will be the base of our flavor for these southwestern yams. Just move it around. What we're trying to do is get this to a quick scald. Once we get some bubbles, it's done. Now as far as flavor, we can let it sit 5-6 minutes, it'll be fine. If the flavor is gonna be a little more delicate, you'd want a little bit more time to steep. So think of this as tea. We're steeping for flavor. So once I see some bubbles, we're good to go. Now how much cream should we use? Typically with any kind of au gratin, whatever vessel you're using, fill it halfway. Once it's halfway, we cover it. The steam and reduction is gonna get rid of the cream, it's gonna go to the potatoes, and it's gonna be delicious. Now what happens if your potatoes become a little bit too soupy? Take off the lid, put the heat up, and it's gonna reduce. You'll be fine. All right, I'm seeing some bubbles, so we're almost there. What you wanna do with these chipotles is go ahead and crush them to try and get the seeds out, really move around that flavor. Get as much as we can, and once we start seeing a few more bubbles, I'm gonna go ahead and strain it. Now, do I have to strain it? No, I don't, but I wanna take these chilies out, some of the skins out, some of the seeds out. I wanna make this a nice au gratin, but do you have to? No. You could totally chop these up and leave them inside your au gratin. I'm choosing not to do that for this one. As you can see, I'm getting bubble. So let's go ahead and strain this out. To make sure I get all my cream, I'm just gonna go ahead and smush this down, get those droplets, get them some really nice color here. All right, it's just a matter of pouring this right on. So I just wanna get a little bit of cream on the potato, and I'm just filling halfway. The key is halfway, because with the steam and reduction, these are gonna make some really good au gratin potatoes. That's about almost halfway. And let's do this small one. What's really cool about these little vessels, it just makes a nice presentation. You can control how much you buy for your product, for your event. All right, cool. And now I'm gonna finish it off with a little bit of cheese. Now this cojita cheese, like I said, it's really flavorful. and it kind of holds up, meaning you're still gonna see it. It's not gonna totally melt away. And there's 2 stages to cheese for this au gratin. The first stage is we're gonna go ahead and cook it and reduce it down. And then the second stage, we're gonna add some Oaxaca cheese and get it melty, really nice, caramelized, and that's gonna make the au gratin. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover these up. I'm gonna put them into a 400-degree oven. I'm thinking about 30 minutes, and we'll check them. All right, here's a chef tip. The reason why I have them on a sheet pan, when we talk about au gratins or talk about something hot in the oven, no one wants to redecorate. So if you happen to get a lot of steam or a little bit of the cream comes out, it's gonna go in the sheet pan and not the bottom of your oven, you know, smoking you out, causing a fire. So that's why I have it on a sheet pan. All right, these have been in about 35 minutes. Now, if you were to do a big casserole, you'll probably go 45 to 50, but this is what I wanna see. Bubbles, really thick bubbles. I mean, right there, that's a thick au gratin, thick sauce. So when I add my cheese, just like this is Oaxaca cheese. This is what makes it the gratin. It's gonna caramelize and get really nice, and that steam and reduction is gonna release, and you're gonna be left with a nice au gratin, nice sauce. This one right here. This one, same thing. So I have bubbles happening on the outsides. These are totally cooked, and I can add my cheese. Now, as far as technique goes, you know, I'm doing 400 degrees in that little oven. Your oven at 400 degrees might cook these a little faster, a little bit slower. All you have to do is just take the fork test, and you'll know if you're done. So I'm gonna pop these back in to get caramelized, and we're good to go. These finished off in a 450-degree oven for about 5 or 6 minutes. You can see the caramelization. Now, I like it like this. If you want a little bit more toasty, do it. If you don't like this much caramelization, fine, you're eating it. But just look at the, I'm gonna try this one. One, look how beautiful these things are. I mean, slap that on a table, very nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn my mouth. I mean, look at that ooey gooey. Is that not what you want for an au gratin? The Oaxaca cheese is just really nice. Go ahead and give it a little garnish. Same thing for this. Little green, little chive.
You're just giving yourself time.
I am, because it's gonna really burn. But hey, that's what you do. Wow. Really good. What I like about this dish, the Chipotle, gives it nice heat, beautiful balance. I like the Mexican cheeses. It just gives it the whole Southwestern feel. And then the yams. I mean, these are not like your typical candied yams for Thanksgiving. This packs a lot of flavor in a really simple dish that you could do ahead of time. So something definitely you should try for your Thanksgiving. These are Southwestern Chipotle yams.
Now, how hot was that?
It was pretty freaking hot.
Laid it off pretty well.
It was pretty freaking hot.